Hello everybody, my name is Manuel and welcome to another Eternal Essentials. This is going to be the last part of the Eternal Essentials Archetype series. Today we're going to cover combo. Alright, like combo decks don't really exist too much in this game right now, which is kind of to be expected in like a single set format, and also game designers are very careful with like traditional pure combo decks because they are like very uninteractive and therefore a lot of the time pretty unfun to have in the format, because usually one of the two players is gonna sit there and like do their own thing and not care much about their opponent, which is kind of not the point of playing a game with and against someone else. You're playing by yourself. But alright, there are still like some reasonable examples for like fairly straight combo decks, and I'm gonna like talk about the various like flavors of combo and like what combo is about. So let's take a look at this Voda combo. The lists are just like randomly pulled from Eternal Nexus. I don't necessarily have an opinion on the list or agree on the list specifics. They're just like for example purposes. So let me get rid of those premium cards that are a bit confusing. Alright. Here we see like a typical Voda combo deck, which is arguably the most viable combo deck in the game. It's like basically like a explosive ramp combo deck. The deck has very little interaction. Basically, as you can see, the only interaction is a couple of silences. No removal, no sweepers whatsoever. All cards focused on its own plan, which is something that is very typical for combo decks. Combo decks have usually very few interaction cards. They usually only run some form of disruption if there's problems in the format that need to be dealt with. And other than that, they try to focus on their own game plan and on pure speed and trying. Like a combo deck is basically good enough if it's as fast or faster than the fastest aggro deck in the format is undisrupted. So bit hard to say what it is in this game right now, and also the fact that a deck like this at least produces blockers kind of mitigates the fact that fact a bit, since against a low to the ground aggro deck that is trying to raise you, you are not fully ignoring them. Like a lot of traditional combo decks have like no board and therefore cannot block aggro decks, but this deck even like does a lot in the sense of slowing down an aggro deck, and therefore can buy itself some additional time even without running sweepers or removal. So but as you can see, all the cards basically are like power searchers, both to like reach the high power amounts needed for like Martial Ironthorn, Ascendant, Vodakhan, and the One Great Parliament, as well as being like power seekers for Vodakhan Temple Speaker once you have it in play. So let's look at what how the deck combos basically. So the deck basically tries to ramp up quickly into 8 power, preferably. Like you can drop it on 7, but preferably you want to drop it on 8 and play a Seek power at the same turn. What happens is the destiny given to all your power cards will be triggered by Seek power, since Seek power says draw a sigil, so it triggers destiny, and then basically Seek power costs 0 power, you get the sigil into play, draw another card. If that's another power, that also comes into play, and you draw more cards. And if you have a Martial Ironthorn, the destiny powers will also be copied. So basically if you have an Ironthorn in play and then drop a Temple Speaker and play a Seek, your Seek basically generates 1 power for you, and you have the chance to like hit more power and then play more power seekers like Find a Way, or if you have Voice of the Speaker out, the card with Seek has Echo. So basically if you have like with the destiny, Voice of the Speaker does about the same as Martial Ironthorn, because what it does is it copies, it clones the power card you draw, and since both have destiny, they both come into play. So either a Voice of the Speaker or Martial in play generates extra power. So basically then that deck just kind of draws a ton of cards with Ascendance and Vortigern's Destiny, creates a lot of power where it can like nuke the opponent's board with Ironthorn and or draw into its one big parliament, and often win the game like that turn or in the next turn while having generated so much advantage on board and in cards drawn extra that from that point on the opponent is usually incapable of containing and overcoming what the deck does. So this basically is like kind of an explosive ramp deck that just gets to a point where a lot of its cards, the way I showed, interact beneficially with each other, generating a huge chain of events and a ton of advantage that snowballs into a victory. This is one of the like slower combo decks, and also like a bit more interactive in the sense that it's mostly centered around units, so there's still like a lot of interaction points where you can like block stuff your opponent is trying to race you with before you get to your combo, and there's also interaction points obviously for your opponent by being able to interact with your combo pieces with removal, because your combo pieces are all units. Next we have a little more controlling combo deck. This is like a tournament deck list, so don't be surprised by the main deck ruin and stuff like that. Alright, so this deck has like more of a specific combination, while the other deck is more of like an engine deck, which has like this Destiny Empower engine, and there's a lot of cards that generate extra value in conjunction with various other cards. This deck has like a combo in the very classic sense, which is Mirror Image, Westwind Herald, and Calderon Gunsmith, together with Cable Spymaster. So these 4 cards build the combo of this deck, and with those 4 cards going, you basically win the game, because what happens is you mirror image the Gunsmith, like you attack with the Westwind Herald, which replays the mirror image copies a Calderon Gunsmith, and the Gunsmith comes in play, and thanks to the Herald having infinite infiltrate, thanks to Spymaster, triggers again, so you play more mirror image, making more Gunsmiths, and eventually you will have a ton of Gunsmiths, and your opponent will just be shot to death by the Gunsmith triggers. And the rest of the deck basically is ways to set up the combo and slow down your opponent. So here we have like some disruption in form of attachment removal and sabotage to protect your combo from removal and interaction, while a bunch of cheap removal and Island's Favor to protect our face, to buy ourselves time to get there. This deck is a bit more of what you would call like a combo control deck, since, as I said, there's few like actual like dedicated combo deck options in this game right now. So what you have is a lot of like hybrid type decks that are built around a combo, but while trying to combo, they deploy, like for example, the plan of a control deck, as in this case, and a bunch of card draw basically. So you try to not die while you try to slowly, over multiple turns, find the cards for your combo and also set up your combo on board, because given that the total combo costs like 14 power and needs a mirror image in the void, that's a lot of power in one turn, which is usually not possible. So you usually will have to deploy your combo over multiple turns. But yeah, this is like one of the more interactive versions of a combo deck, also because there's only so much like digging and card draw in the game. So if you have no ways to make your combo more consistent and faster, you basically need to play more interaction, like you can see in this case. But there is one example that is like a very dedicated low interaction combo deck that tries to abuse the recent redraw rule changes. Some of you might have heard about these types of decks. They are basically 50 power decks that play like dedicated 25 card combo core, and the redraw rule allows them to see their combo very frequently, so they redraw basically almost every hand, trying to find their combo. And this deck basically only consists of the combo, ways to protect and find the combo, and a bit of removal to make sure that you actually can kill the opponent, because since we are killing the opponent with a unit, there's cards like other flyers and Sandstorm Titan that would deny Recurring Nightmare from killing the opponent, so we need a bunch of removal. And the rest is just protection and ways to get the combo back, ways to find the combo, like basically you in your redraw you want to see like a Whispering Wind or Recurring Nightmare normally, and Whispering Wind can then find a lot of stuff, and Haunting Scream and Dark Return can get back Nightmare in case it gets killed. And then you basically just ignore what your opponent is doing, attack him with Recurring Nightmare each turn until it's big enough to kill the opponent. And if the opponent tries to kill your Recurring Nightmare, you either give it Aegis, which it keeps over the next turns, fortunately, since it's a permanent Aegis. So after you like counter something with a protect, you get it back to your hand, and then the next time you play it, it still has Aegis, making it even harder for the opponent to stop the combo. And alternatively, you can just Dark Return it back to play it again, one bigger and for one more expensive basically, or just Haunting Scream it back to hit the opponent with it. The deck is basically all focused on just attacking with Recurring Nightmare often enough to kill the opponent, and ways to make sure it can. Removal to get rid of units that keep it from connecting with the opponent, and ways to protect or recur Recurring Nightmare if it ever happens to die, which is not that likely. And yeah, then you basically just hope your opponent cannot stop you or kill you before you kill them. This is like pretty much how combo decks operate. You mostly ignore what your opponent is doing, other than the things that keep you from winning, and try to win faster than they do. So one thing that basically that I want to like sum up in the end is like how to is like two things, like how to build and how to play combo decks. So when you're building a combo deck, basically the deck should heavily focus on consistently assembling your combo as fast as possible. So your deck usually consists of the highest amount of combo pieces that is possible and or needed. Like sometimes it is as you saw in like the Spymaster combo deck, for example, correct to not play the maximum amount of each combo piece, because if your combo takes long to assemble anyway, then you want cards that help you survive long enough. And if you have combo pieces that don't do much on their own, you might not want the full amount. But in general, you want to focus on maximizing consistency and speed for your combo deck, and only compensate for lack of consistency and lack of speed by adding interaction like removals, reapers, discard, counter magic, stuff like that. And the other reason to add interaction is basically if there are specific problem cards in opposing decks. Like for example in the Recurring Nightmare deck, if your opponent has a flyer or a Sandstorm Titan, you need an answer for it, otherwise you cannot combo your opponent. So you need sufficient answers for the cards that stop your combo or your entire deck dead in its tracks. And you have to make sure, in order for your combo deck to be good enough, to consistently win faster than the opposing than the opposing decks with the limited amount of interaction that you have, basically, since you're focusing on your own game plan. And when playing combo deck, especially if it's like a one-turn combo kill, it is important to know how much time you have and when to go off, since going off a turn earlier than you have to is often bad, because in a lot of cases that makes your combo weaker, like for example in the Voda combo case, which is especially true for these like engine based combo decks that have some variance and not have like a defined like I win the game combo. Like for example the Spy Master combo deck, if you go off and the opponent doesn't have interaction, you win 100% of the time. In the Voda combo deck, you have like this engine that unravels and has a lot of variance to it. So you generate a huge advantage, and chances that you win are fairly high, but there's also the chance of basically fizzling of your combo, like ending prematurely and not generating that much, and then the opponent gets to have a turn again. So if you try to go off too early with this type of combo, you risk, like I said, fizzling and your opponent getting a turn again and getting to interact with your stuff again, and you having exposed essential parts of your combo, and might possibly just lose, or even the opponent just killing you on the next turn. The same is if you wait one turn too long to try and go off, you might just die before you ever get the chance. So it's very important to get an idea if you can survive another turn, because like I said, you want to go off on the last possible turn to maximize the strengths of your combo and like the that you have everything, and that you also have like that extra power to protect your combo and stuff like that. So every extra turn that you can get before you try and combo off, especially in an engine type combo deck like the Voda combo deck, is very, very critical. Like every turn that you take yourself by misjudging how much time you have can make it more likely for your combo to fizzle and for your combo to not win you the game. While in the case of the type of combo in the Spy Master combo deck, if you wait too long, you just lose the game, and you can basically not go off too early. So the going off too early thing is usually not a problem, but it can be a problem. Like for example, if you try to go for the combo too early, while you could wait and find more protection, like another sabotage maybe, to protect it from removal, you might also risk losing because you gave your opponent a chance to interact with your combo when you could have waited for your opponent either to maybe use their power on their turn to try and kill you when they not quite could, and also you having a chance to draw into a way to protect your combo, to combo off without your opponent stopping your combo. So every extra turn in every kind of combo deck is critical, because there's always that extra amount of protection or that increased chance of success that you can get. The Recurring Nightmare type combo deck works a bit different in the sense that it doesn't have like this multiple card combo traditional combo type of thing where it just like combos and goes off. It is more of like a weird aggro combo deck that just tries to ignore what the opponent is doing and attack multiple times with that one card, Recurring Nightmare, until the opponent is dead basically, and Recurring Nightmare is big enough to finish the opponent off. But so in that sense it's kind of an untraditional combo deck, because it's doesn't even have an actual combo. It just has is built around a single card that you try to kill the opponent with while ignoring what they are doing. Alright, I think that covers like all the essential points to keep in mind when building and playing combo decks. Focus on your combo, try to build your combo as fast and as consistent as you can. Don't play any interaction that isn't absolutely necessary basically, and when playing combo, try to find out how much time you have. Going off a turn too late will cost you the game as much as going off too early might cost you the game for the mentioned reasons. So it's very important to go off exactly in the right turn, not one earlier, not one later. Alright, that's it for the comparatively short combo video, since combo is just like kind of a small and also not that relevant part of the metagame, because there's no like high tier combo decks right now. They are all kind of so-so, too slow, too clunky, too vulnerable, too inconsistent. There's just a lot of things wrong with combo decks, but once we get more sets and more cards, the potentials for stronger and more efficient combos and more consistent combos will increase, and we will probably see some better and more traditional combo decks down the line at some point, even though I'm sure that Direwolf Digital will make sure that they will be reasonably slow and possible to interact with, because they definitely consider like uninteractive fast combo decks unfun, like most card games these days. Alright, that's it for the Eternal Essentials Archetype series with the last part combo. I hope you guys enjoyed this series and found it entertaining and or interesting and helpful. Let me know in the comments what you think, or if there's any more questions that you have regarding the combo archetype. I'm happy to help. And don't forget to like and subscribe and follow me on social media for future updates. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.